Here's a quick look at a so-called old age home in Noida that's turned out to be a house of horror for over 40 elderly people. Locked inside rooms, some in fact tied to beds, others laying naked or in clothes stained with urine and feces. This is what officials found inside the Anand Niketan Vriddha ashram in Noida. A shocking video that went viral on social media exposed the facilities there. State Women's Commission, Welfare Department and Noida Police raided that place, and what they found was horrific. Senior citizens kept in a basement-like rooms. Women were tied down to their beds. Some had no clothes on, and there was no one attending to their needs. Very sad and tragic to see the elderly kept in such a condition. Let's have a listen.
कल मैं नोएडा सेक्टर 55 स्थित एक वृद्धाश्रम में गई थी। उस आश्रम में मैंने देखा कि उस आश्रम में वृद्धों की स्थिति इतनी खराब है कि आप जेल को कहते थे कभी कि जेल खराब होती है, वो जेल से भी बदतर स्थिति है। इतना गलत वहाँ हमने देखा, लोगों ने टॉयलेट पोटी की हुई अपने कपड़ों में, वो बेसुध पड़े हैं, कोई देखने वाला नहीं है। एक एक पंखे चल रहे हैं, वो भी बहुत कम स्पीड पे।
Only one nurse, a 12th pass woman, was found caring for these elderly people, of over 40 of them. The home was illegal. It was not registered. We hear this ashram or an elderly home was in fact functioning without legit papers. No license, no trained medical staff. Families of these elderly citizens were made to pay nearly 2.5 lakhs in donation and 6,000 every month for food and care for their loved ones, but this is exactly how they were treated. Now, what they got here, unfortunately, was abuse, isolation and neglect. 3 of the rescued have been shifted to government-run old age homes. The rest are being moved to state-approved shelters. Anand Niketan has been sealed, but serious questions now remain. How did this really go unchecked? Who allowed this to operate in the first place? And what action will be taken against those who profited off the pain of the elderly? These are our elders. They are people who should have been surrounded by love and dignity in their final years. But here, even the most basic care was denied. They were left to suffer in silence, tied and locked behind doors. Their children, their families, handed them over to this place, paid lakhs of rupees to this care center and never came back to check what kind of life that their parents or their loved ones are living. And that might just be the deepest wound of this all. I have with me joining us, Rekha Agarwal, advocate and social activist, also Seema Sinha, social activist. For more, Rekha, my heart breaks. I was so emotional watching the story this morning. How could one? My only question is, how could families just ignore, admitting their elderly loved ones to these centers, paying lakhs of rupees as fees, but not once turning around to see how they are being kept? Look at the women there tied to their beds.
Nabila, in fact, I'm so disturbed even right now while seeing the visuals, on the TV screen. And I just read the reports. In fact, the whole day long, I was not aware of this story, and I just read it. And seeing the visuals is actually very horrifying. And this just shows the abject state, the conditions that the elderly in our country are being made to live in. And it's a sorry state of affairs, but particularly I wonder why the children have abandoned them in the first place. Why can't the children be looking after them? As I say, what goes around, comes around. And I'm quite certain that their parents must have cared for them like all parents do for their children when they're young. And now when it's their turn, for the children's turn to take care of the parents, this is the way they've just kind of, got rid of the responsibility by paying a certain amount of money, whether it is 2.5 lakhs or whatever, and some amount which is paid monthly. This is not the way to kind of just, put away your elderly people in old age homes. In India, we even believe in the concept of Vasudev Kutumbakam. The entire world is a family. And if what are we doing if we can't look after our own parents? What is the point of saying that the world is our family? So I think that we should all hang our heads in shame. It's a collective failure of our responsibility towards our elderly citizens. And in a democratic, secular country like ours, and where the constitution is there, which guarantees us fundamental rights. And one of the biggest fundamental rights, Nabila, that we have is, which is there for every citizen, irrespective of caste, or creed, or age, is the right to live a life the way you want and the right to live a life of dignity. So that is what Article 21 of the Constitution provides us. And if this is what they are being made to live in these kind of conditions. I think that the government needs to pull up its socks. The UP government, Chief Minister should look into this matter. I'm glad that the UP State Commission has, the Women's State Commission, Meenakshi ji has.
In fact, Seema Sinha, Ms. Rekha, Seema Sinha who's sitting with us is in fact the lady who exposed this. She was part of the raids. She took that very video that's now gone viral. Seema, thank you very much for doing what you did. What did you see there?
Thank you so much for inviting me. On Wednesday evening, we got a video from my friend Deepa Jain. She's a lawyer, and the lady who's seen in the picture is a Reiki master, and she has worked in a British embassy. So she's highly qualified, and she's not a doctor. She's a Reiki grandmaster. She's a pranic healer. And when we saw the video, we were so shocked, and we thought what to do. Then one of my friends, Shada Chaturvedi, has seen in the picture. She's a Mahila Adhyaksh BJP, but she's a more of a social worker. So we got in touch with her, and then we decided to speak to PMO, CM, and everybody, Mahesh Sharma, MLA, MP, whatever we thought at that time, we did everybody. And then in the morning, we asked Sharda ji to call Meenakshi Parala ji, and she's seen in the picture. And then we decided we'll go without informing anybody, because Nilima, who looks after the ashram, and the Krishna, who is office bearer, they are very mischievous people, because I stay in the same sector, and so many people had complained that she doesn't allow anybody to go in the room. She'll allow anybody just to go in the reception area, meet the ladies, do some social work, do some volunteer work, and come back. So we had so many complaints, but we never used to got the evidence. So when we saw the evidence, then we went there to just see the Devi and ask her, and so that we can take her out. When we went there, we started going to the different rooms, and then what we saw that most of the ladies and the senior citizens, they were lying on the bed. The bed sheet was old, very old. It was stinking, and they were not using. There was no diaper found, because usually you find a diaper with these people, because they're not. And most of the most important, amazing thing was there was only one nurse, and she was fast, and she used to stay only till 5 o'clock, and there was no nurse in the night, and there was no caretaker also. Then when we went to some other room, some person from that ashram only told, go to the third floor, second floor, and you'll find 2-3 rooms locked from outside. But when I asked Krishna, the office bearer, that we should go and see the room, he was making some excuses, go to this side, go that side. Then finally, Meenakshi ji, Sharda Chaturvedi, me, everybody went there, and we insisted that you want to see this room. When we went inside the room,
Ma'am, would you have any idea whether the family members of these elderly, have they even bothered to come and check after placing them there? They're paying lakhs of rupees as donation to this.
No, the person who was seen the man is a doctor man, and he was just wearing a knicker and a plain bed. He was sleeping with a old utensil and 2 pieces of mango. That was his old food holding. And on the places you can see the urinal and everything lying on the floor. And what the Nilima ji said, he is mad. ये पागल आदमी है, इसलिए इनको हम बाहर से बंद करके रखते हैं. Imagine, ma'am, you can see there was no ventilation, nothing, and this he is inside the room, locked for almost like 10 years. So you can imagine
how many years? How many years did you say they were there?
Almost like 10 years.
My God.
Locked. There are other 2 people also, and one lady was missing from there. She has been locked for almost 12 years. They had they had shifted somewhere else. So, ma'am,
any idea of the family members? A quick word. Any idea of the family members of these elderly?
Yeah, we asked them why your family members are not coming. This elder person, he said, this is the best thing my children has given me. Anmol gift tofa diya unhone mujhe yahan shift kara ke. And most of the ladies, they said, ma'am, usme kuch few ladies were like working ladies, they have not got married. और कुछ के ऐसे थे जिनकी लड़कियां थी, they had excuse कि हम अपनी बेटियों के साथ नहीं रह सकते. They had different excuse, but सब बहुत डरे हुए थे. They all were so scared to even open the mouth for Nilima and Krishna, because उनको बहुत torture करके रखा गया. it's a issue of
I
investigation.
thank
Many
you. I
people come
thank
out.
you here on News 9, and I thank you for exposing this and moving these elderly people to safe government-run elderly homes. They are now in a safe space. I thank you very much as we are short on time, Ms. Rekha and Ms. Simha.